I'd say put down your baby and pick up a beer. But Brandon, I got a baby in my arms, so I'm going to go with hold your baby and also maybe grab a beer. I don't know. We're on a very special episode of Dad Jokes. We got a Mother's Day episode. We got a couple special guests here with us, including Peyton, who's in my arms because she refuses to go down tonight. Brandon, how are you guys doing over there?
We are great. I'm sitting here with Kelsey. You are sitting with Peyton, but also Macy. We thought for this Mother's Day episode, we would introduce the women who made us fathers and made this podcast possible. So I'm looking forward to it.
Me too. Kelsey, why don't you say hi to the folks listening either in their car or at home or wherever the heck they are, and tell them a little bit about the better half of the Bankses.
Hi, my name is Kelsey. I am Brandon's wife and Bryce's mom. I work in environmental health and safety for an automotive supplier, and I'm really excited to be on the podcast.
Nice. I like it. We're excited to have you. And then next to me is my wife, Macy. Macy, why don't you say hi?
Hi guys, I'm Macy, Jerry's wife, Peyton's mom, and I am an RN in the NICU. Just started in the NICU, worked in peds before, and I'm excited to kind of get to know how the podcast life works.
Well, the best thing about the podcast, or at least how we got our name, is Dad Jokes, and that's because we always have a couple dad jokes on the show. And Kelsey, Brandon claims that all his dad jokes are vetted by you, and even blames you when they're not so great. But this week, we thought we'd give you a chance to have a dad joke, let you go first, and come out of the gate swinging to see if you can have the best dad joke of the Mother's Day episode.
Okay, are you good?
I'm good.
You waiting with bated breath?
I'm waiting with bated breath.
Okay. What crime was the fussy baby charged with?
Being named Peyton.
Resisting a breast.
Oh, that's good.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I like it. All right.
It's not as good as the one that she didn't say, but we didn't want a word being said on this podcast.
Yeah, Team Banks always has the PG-13 or the spicy ones that are told after the show ends. But so obviously you can see our week, Brandon, has been a little up and down as, again, Peyton is here with us because she is refusing to go to sleep. And for everyone listening, this is after 9 p.m., so she should definitely be in bed. But how has your guys' week been back at the Banks household?
Week has been really solid. Bryce turned 8 months today, actually, the day we're recording. He is still teething. So that's been fun. He's responding better than we would have expected, but he is having a couple outbursts, but they seem to be kind of contained to like a couple minutes, and then he gets over it to a degree. He spent a lot more time with his brother during the day this week than he normally does. My parents take Bryce daily, but they actually took Riley for a couple days this week while we got some areas of our house painted because we didn't want either one of them in the house during that time. So it was a good week overall. It wasn't really eventful. It was a pretty normal week. Bryce is still our favorite time of his, well, my favorite time in his life. Kelsey still would have another newborn right now in her arms.
Is that true, Kelsey?
She's
Are
like
you
looking
guys
at
maybe trying for number 2 here soon? Is that being released here on the podcast?
Oh, God.
No.
But I wouldn't have another newborn right now. I love it.
And it ain't going to be released on the podcast either.
Is there anything you'd add to that week, Kelsey? Anything that maybe Brandon forgot about or exciting news?
No, not really. Bryce is enjoying trying lots of foods during the week. And all around, he's really just a joy. Yeah,
well, we got a little bit of that. We got a little bit of Peyton being a joy and a lot of fun, a lot of laughs, a lot of personality. But we've also had some of the opposite too. It's been a weird week. After we stopped recording last week, Brandon, we had a string of 3 straight days where she slept for very long periods of time in her crib. She slept to 4 a.m. one day. She slept to 2 until like 1 o'clock. So it's 3 straight days. I thought we had turned a corner. But then after that, she had some bad nights in a row. And the weird part is that it seems like whenever you gain something with Peyton, you lose maybe something. So we've gained some more crib time, some more bedtime. But what we've lost is her ability to go down well. So, which is why she's with us tonight. It seems like in the past she would go down in about 10 to 15 minutes. She just would wake up really quickly. But now it seems like it takes maybe 45 minutes to an hour to put her down. But when she does finally go down, she tends to sleep for longer periods of time once it gets past about 10 o'clock. Unfortunately, it is not past 10 o'clock right now, and she is wide awake staring at me as we're speaking. But other than that, we've tried a bunch of new food. She had mangoes today. She had sweet potatoes. She's had carrots. She's pretty much had a lot of different things. The only thing she's had that she hasn't liked is bananas, oddly enough. She was not a big fan of bananas, but I don't know if it was the flavor or the texture that she wasn't a fan of. But it's been, like I said, it's been an up and down week, some good moments and some kind of crazy moments from little Miss Peyton here. Am I missing anything, Macy?
Nope, I don't think so. Just, some days she's good with her naps and some days she's not. Yesterday she took 4 20-minute naps throughout the day. And today she took 2 hour-and-a-half naps and a 45-minute nap. So thought she was going to go to sleep tonight.
That's clutch.
No.
She's hit and miss. We never know.
Well, we did try to transition her.
Well, she looks like she's having a good time right now.
She just turned the microphone off. She's doing great.
She just turned the mic off.
That was great. She did it by herself. That was awesome. But we switched her out of her Merlin and been trying to put her in a sleep sack, which lets her hands free to do things like that. But I don't know if I'd say that was successful or unsuccessful, but we've been doing that a little bit to try to get her transitioned out of that. But like I said, overall, it's been an interesting week, some good, some bad. We'll see how tonight goes and the weekend goes. But Brandon, we do have a piece of baby gear to go over with. But before we do you have a piece of baby gear that you guys want to talk about this week?
We do. And we, Kelsey is a part of a group. Is it on Reddit or Facebook?
Facebook.
That's basically like a Costco finds group. They tend to have some pretty clutch deals that will come through, and they give you a hint to go grab it before they go away. And I know in the past you and I have talked about the convertible car seat and how annoyed I am that we have to even consider that right now after all the research we did on our regular car seat and the fact that Bryce is going to be quickly out of that. So we were going back and forth on which ones to buy. And mentally I had thought about one, but in our situation, we need at least 2. And there's a chance if from a convenience standpoint that we actually need 3 of them. And Costco had it's the Graco Forever 4-in-1. It's normally $330. They had it on sale for $199.99. It's on sale right now for that price. So we snagged 3. I may take one back, but we're going to see what it looks like. But in our situation, I drop Bryce off every morning. Kelsey picks him up every afternoon, and he's at my parents' house Monday through Friday. So they have to have something there all the time. And I don't know if we necessarily want to pull that thing out, put it back, and put it in our house, and have her put it in her car every day. So we know we need at least 2. We might keep all 3 though. But if you guys are near Costco and need a convertible car seat, this episode drops on Monday. That deal might still be there, but those seats may not be.
Yeah, Costco's definitely got a lot of great baby gear out there, and I think Sam's Club does as well. I know you guys were buying diapers from Costco for a while, and I've seen a few different things that are on their website for babies, so that's definitely something to look at because convertible car seats can get expensive very quickly, and especially if you're going to buy multiple ones or 3, even as you guys are. So, Brandon, I don't have a piece of baby gear, but Macy does. She started using a piece of baby gear, or I don't know if I call it baby gear, but maybe in the baby attire. I don't know. I'll let you go over it. I don't know what I would call it.
So any moms out there listening, I know Kelsey has the LV, right? Kelsey? Yeah, the LV hands-free pump. I just bought the Mom Cozy S12 hands-free pump off Amazon yesterday, and I've already used it 3 times. It works great. I get just as much as my, hospital grade, plug in the wall pump, but it's just a lot more convenient, especially when Peyton's throwing her body all everywhere, who doesn't want to sit in her swing. So if any moms are listening, that's a little bit more affordable way to get a hands-free pump. So
Yeah, that's a piece of baby gear that I have not used, Brandon, so I can't say much to it. But Macy seems to like it, so
Oh, you didn't try
I
it
did
at
not
least?
try it. No, I have not tried it.
Well, they told me men could lactate, so I tried
that's a
both of
whole
the
nother
pumps to
episode.
try. I tried the hospital grade. Wait, did I tell you about that, Kelsey?
The Meet the Parents episode, you watched that beforehand and then wanted to
That's
try
why
it
there was
out.
some black hair on the pump at one
Oh.
time.
Yeah, I didn't
Sorry.
try that one, but you never know. A couple more cocktails or something.
In this case, men couldn't lactate, just for the
I
listeners.
like it. So I didn't have a piece of baby gear to go over, Brandon, but I did have a baby fact. It's kind of a pointless fact. Well, I don't want to say pointless, but it's not very interesting. But I found it out today. We were talking about making food for Peyton, and Macy's like, "Oh, I'm going to make her some apples and put some cinnamon in it." And I'm like, "I don't think you're supposed to do that." Well, actually, you're not supposed to give a baby cinnamon until 6 months, apparently. So I don't know. I don't know if it would hurt them or not, but at 6 months, you're good to go. So she's 5 months. She's got a
She's
month to
close
wait
enough.
until she can get some cinnamon. Personally, I don't understand why we're doing it anyway. She likes the apples as it is, but that's maybe a purposeful or a pointless baby fact for you. 6 months until they can have some cinnamon, Brandon.
I wasn't going to put her on blast, but Kelsey was definitely about to get some side eyes if you were about to tell me that babies weren't supposed to have cinnamon. Because we've been giving Bryce cinnamon, and I specifically said, are babies supposed to have cinnamon? Yeah, it's fine.
Well,
It is important to give your baby spices for their
Yeah.
palate.
Macy was about to, and I was like, I thought I read somewhere you weren't supposed to
She's
until
got
a certain
like 3
age.
weeks until she's 6
Well,
months.
in 3 weeks you can have some cinnamon,
Oh
and
my
then we'll let her have some cinnamon. I don't think she needs anything more to liven her up.
You might as well just let her do the cinnamon challenge.
Exactly. She's trying to continue to reach for the microphone. Apparently, she really wants to be on the podcast today.
I mean, there's a red light there.
Yeah.
This is entertaining.
She's
to
very
watch, though.
excited about the red light. I like it. Do you have any baby facts or anything you came up with this week, Brandon?
I'm ready to start.
All right, so yeah, Brandon, I'm excited for this episode. We thought for Mother's Day, we would kind of interview our wives and let them give their perspectives on motherhood and what it's been like their first year of being a mother, challenges, things that they've learned, and give everyone back at home kind of a woman's perspective since it's always me and you talking here on the show. So we're going to ask some questions of our wives and hear what they say. We have not asked them these questions beforehand, so I have no idea what's going to come out of their mouth, so I'm excited for that. But first, I'm going to ask, Kelsey, I'm going to ask you a question, and this is a question we've asked everyone we've had on the show. I love asking this question. Basically, what has surprised you most about becoming a mother?
So if you know me, you know that I'm a relatively high anxiety person day to day. And I think what's most surprising about becoming a mom is how laid back I am. I'm a pretty laid back mom.
And I'm exactly the opposite.
So you guys have flipped roles,
Which
yeah,
is
because normally you're pretty
surprising.
laid back, Brandon. So that's
Right.
interesting.
I am laid back in general, but I'm anxious about Bryce.
Yeah, I can understand that for sure. All right, I like it. Macy, what would you say you are most surprised about becoming a mother?
I would probably say how difficult it is. I always thought I would be the well put together mom who, cuts the PB&J sandwiches in the cute little shapes and the organic lunches, all the extra stuff. Nope, we're in survival mode over here. We do this day by day. We're just figuring it out as we go.
Yeah, Peyton, she's a little bit of a handful, but it's okay. She's got
We'll get
lots of
there.
personality, and she's definitely a lively baby, is what we'll call her. So, I can understand that survival mode thing, but so far, so good. She's still alive, and that's a win as parents, right?
Without question.
Definitely.
So, kind of the same question, but in a different facet, Kelsey. What has surprised you the most about Brandon being a dad?
So first of all, how anxious he gets about Bryce. He questions everything. But I also think just how overly helpful he is. For the past months now, Bryce has only gotten up once in the middle of the night to eat, and he's done almost every single wake up. So that's been awesome and a little surprising as well.
Yeah, I could see that being surprising. I don't know that I would mark Brandon as getting up every single time, but good job, Brandon. Brownie points.
What you know about me getting up and not
I
getting
don't know. It
up?
just smells like
No, I think it just it just flips like the
yeah,
traditional
no,
role.
definitely because you do hear a lot of stereotypes and things before you actually have the baby, especially while you guys were pregnant. You hear stuff about dads all the time, and I know Brandon has definitely tried to not fall into that stereotype of a typical dad, which sounds horrible because I hate that, but like that's a lot of times people say typical dads aren't very engaged, especially when they're newborns and babies, and I know that that's not Brandon, so I commend you for that. And
we know people that fit in that category, and we'll gladly
we
tell
do,
you that
and
too, and ask you why you're doing what you're doing.
That's definitely not you. So I like that.
I will tell you though, Kelsey grabbed a night wake up for me. Actually, I slept in the spare bedroom because I was kind of like very tired last week, and she like basically was like, "Yo, you need to go sleep in there." Hey guys, I got kicked to the spare bedroom, but uh, it was like the best night of sleep I've gotten in probably 3 months. So
That's
that was
clutch.
great.
I might need a spare bedroom here.
No.
Macy.
I'm going to.
I like it. Same question to you, Macy. What would surprise you about I guess me being a dad?
It shouldn't have surprised me, but Jerry knows everything about any baby topic, kid topic, anything, because he does so much research. And I should have known that he would be more informed than I am, because he will research a piece of baby gear for hours and hours and hours and go back and forth, try to decide if he's going to buy it. Where I'm like, hey, let's just try it, whatever. He is like so informed. I feel like he could be a pediatrician.
Well, if I could be a pediatrician, I might have a better solution to our non-sleeping baby.
That's
but,
true.
You never know.
But speaking of the baby gear that you guys are talking about, what would you say your favorite piece of baby gear is, Macy?
Oh, well, I'm a sucker for good pajamas. I don't think that's a... Jared's going to give me a look. I don't think that's baby gear, so let me think.
You were going to say Little Sleepies,
I was going to say Little Sleepies because I really want them to sponsor the podcast so we can get matching family bamboo pajamas, but we'll see. Maybe in due time.
She loves those pajamas, and I hate them because, like, Peyton's feet don't fit, like, they slide out of them. So then she ends up with her 2 feet, like, in the non-leg area, and they're, like, cramped in there. So that's why.
Well, there goes your sponsorship.
Well, it's honestly probably not their fault. It's the fact that Peyton's so small. So it's not really their fault, but it just makes me angry. That's probably my biggest beef with them.
And like a random piece of baby gear is our bottle sterilizer. It's so like you wouldn't think you'd get that excited about it, but I use it like 3 times a day. And Nick and Alicia gave it to us. Shout out to them. So it's free, and it's like been the most helpful piece of baby gear we have.
It's a baby Brezza bottle sterilizer, and it's great. I second that. It's been a great piece of baby gear for us. I think you guys have the exact same one. I think we've talked about it before.
I think
yes.
Is yours dry bottles?
You guys don't have the dry.
That's clutch. The drying is clutch.
Yeah.
And it's nice, especially when it's free. It's even extra nice.
Yeah, basically, we needed a new dishwasher anyway, but we bought a dishwasher that was a little more expensive for the purposes of being able to dry and sterilize all these bottles. And then the new dishwasher broke, so we've been hand washing.
Home ownership is so much fun. You gotta love it.
Oh, it's great. And it also warped my floor, so shout out to...
speaking of home ownership, you guys Brandon, you were 90% last time we were on the podcast. Where's the percentage of new home ownership at? Kelsey's putting her hand to her face, so I'm not sure it's at 90%.
Well, let's see if Kelsey can do really good math. She graduated from Michigan State University. What's 90 minus 90, Kelsey? That's what percentage.
So it's going well. Remember I told you last week we were going to look back and I said I think that this episode is going to be kind of funny because 90% was a bold proclamation. So good job. I'm sorry that it's 0%. I'm maybe next week it'll be back to 90 and we'll laugh at this one. Who knows?
Yeah, it was. We'll see. We'll see what it was. But Kelsey, what's your favorite piece of baby gear?
So I'm not using it as much anymore, but the first 4 months of Bryce's life, the Solly baby wrap. I baby wore him everywhere to do everything. It was convenient, and he loved it.
I like that. It's funny. We were talking about on, I think the last couple podcasts, how I hadn't used the baby carrier, the Kaluga one, very much at all, but I've used it a ton in the last couple weeks because it seems to be calming Peyton down at night lately. So I've gone from like I don't understand the point to now using it almost daily. So I'm back on team baby wrap or baby carrier, whereas a couple weeks ago I was like I don't see the point. So that's definitely flipped completely for me.
Can you use the wraps when they're like how big can you use them till?
I honestly don't know. I've never used the wrap.
Bryce is about 20 pounds, and I put him in it the other day. And it was okay at first, but he did start sagging, so he needed a little bit more
That's probably
structure.
accurate. Peyton probably could wear it for the next year, knowing her. So we'll see.
And that's when you just move over to the baby
Exactly,
carrier.
yeah. And the Kalugo's pretty sturdy. So, now she's getting a little. She didn't like that. She didn't like the exact.
She heard her name.
So what would you say, Kelsey's been kind of your favorite mom moment since becoming a mom? Like, is there like a moment where you're like, this was just, it's been awesome being a mom?
I don't know if it's one moment, but I can tell you anytime I walk into a room, Bryce looks at me and lights up. And every time I see that, my heart just melts. And so I'm reminded all the time of how sweet he is and how great it is to be a mom.
Yeah, that's.
And just for those listening, she gonna get mad, but how much she loves that, she's thinking about it right now and getting emotional saying it.
Well, they say there's something, and I don't know, obviously,
Love you,
because we have kind of the opposite, but like they do say there's something about little boys and their moms, and they say there's something about little girls and their dads. So I don't know if that's true. I'm sure that obviously dads that have boys love their boys, just like you do, Brandon, and girls that have girls love their girls, but I don't know. I've always imagined if we have a little boy that Macy's gonna be a sucker for the little boy, kind of like I'm a sucker for Peyton. So I could definitely see that being a thing.
Well, Bryce definitely loves his mom more than he loves me. I'll tell you that.
Well,
Oh, he
she's more
smiles when I
necessary
come
than
in.
you,
He loves
and
me.
for most of his life so far. So let's
But
just
boy,
be
oh
honest
boy.
that he kind of needs her to survive, and not so much you, but not that.
Brandon and I were laying in bed today, and Bryce was laying in between us, and he had one hand on each of our faces, and he just kept looking back and forth at both of us. So he loves us both.
But he was smiling harder
just
at her.
a little bit bigger. Well, Peyton only will lays between us and has to hold our hands, otherwise she screams. So
Both of us.
yeah, she has to have our hands
That's very
held, which is
sweet.
sweet at first, but 20 minutes in, not so sweet.
She'll like smack your arm until you hold her hand.
Yeah. So Macy, I guess what would you say has been your favorite mom moment?
Honestly, just last week when she had her baptism, that was like our first big, party for her or like event for her, and it was just like a cool moment. Like, it was all about her. We got to celebrate her. She didn't like it apparently.
Apparently she wasn't a fan.
But it was
She's
just like a
joining the
very
party.
proud moment for me to see. So I got a little choked up during the baptism, I'll admit. So
And she was really well behaved during the baptism
was.
too. Like it was long. I thought for sure she was going to have a breakdown.
there was a ton
and
of people in her
she,
face.
She really didn't have a breakdown at all. Like she's kind of about to have right now, but she didn't have one at all during the baptism. So that was a good moment. I will reiterate that kind of thought. Kelsey, kind of going back, switching gears a little bit. Obviously, Brandon and I kind of on a whim decided to start this podcast when both you and Macy were still pregnant. I don't think he or I thought that we would still be doing this almost a year later now. I mean, kind of what are your thoughts on the podcast itself, and are you surprised that we're still doing it almost a year later?
I am surprised you're still doing it because it started when I was pregnant, and I can't believe it's been that long. But I think it's really cool that you guys found a gap in the market and are creating something to fill that gap. So I think it's cool. I think it's useful. I think it's great, a great resource for dads. I think you should continue.
Yeah, it's been fun. I mean, I think obviously we're surprised that we're still, doing it, but it's been like Brandon calls it like therapy a lot of times. I mean, it's been almost better for us, I think, than anticipated. Peyton, sorry, being kind of crazy. I might have to go try to put her down here and let Brandon take over. Yeah, I would say that it has been a great ride so far, and I'm looking forward to continue to do it. And obviously, it'll be fun to look back at some of these episodes as the kids get bigger, or even if we have multiple kids and kind of going back and seeing if at the certain points in our first kids' lives were similar to how our next kids are. Macy, what are your thoughts?
Right, it's like
Yeah, it is.
a
It really
baby
is.
book.
It's like a memoir or whatever you want to call it. Macy, what would you say your thoughts are on the podcast itself?
Well, I was gonna say kind of what you guys just said. It's awesome. Like, you guys bring this stuff up. I was thinking the other day, there's been a couple things that I forgot to like write in Peyton's baby book, like first time she smiled, first time she laughed. And I know you guys have talked about that on the podcast, so I can just go back and listen and figure out which episode it was. And then kind of gauge from there when it was. So that's, cool. And then I think it would be cool even like down the road for Peyton and Bryce to listen to. Maybe not Peyton so much, but them to listen to and just kind of see, how our lives were different when they were little and, how things have changed. And like you guys said, if we have more kids, just how things are different with one kid versus two kid. And yeah.
I mean, overall, that's kind of the reason we're doing it for us selfishly, for other dads that are going through stuff at the same time, but also it is something that is documenting like our lives in the moment, and there's not a ton of things you can do that really gives you the opportunity to do it that much, and it's something that we definitely enjoy doing. What Kelsey, what do you, I think I know your answer to this, but what do you miss already about Bryce and being a mom?
Having a sweet, tiny newborn. I loved the newborn phase. I think part of it was that I was off work, so I spent all my time with him, which I really enjoyed. And it was just a little bit of a slower pace of life. But also, he used to just curl up on your chest and fall asleep. And he absolutely will not do that anymore. So I really miss those moments.
So Kelsey misses not working.
Amen.
Macy, what do you miss about?
Honestly,
about
I do
being
miss
a
the
mom?
newborn stage also. Like she said, like Peyton now, she's not really much of a snuggler. She wants to be up doing things, playing, which is super cute, and it's awesome that she's, learning and growing, but just those tiny little newborn snuggles where they don't want anything but you. And so really what I miss the most is the first 2 weeks where Jerry was home. I had a meltdown after 1 week. I was like, we only have a week left together. Like, we're never going to see each other again. But those 2 weeks were just awesome. Just just us. We had visitors, but it was just us, taking it all in, figuring out somewhat of a routine. So I miss that. We probably won't ever have that much time, just the three of us together. So
I agree. That was like the most
Yes.
blissful time, coming home with your newborn and then just having that new family bond. It was
making
awesome.
me emotional.
To dads and potentially moms who are listening to this, or maybe dads who are about to become dads, or moms about to become moms, what's maybe a piece of advice you would give them? And Kelsey, we'll start with you.
I think just take things day by day. Being a mom is not always easy, but it is absolutely worth it. You'll have good days and you'll have bad days, but just taking things day by day really helps.
Ask for help. I was like too proud almost in the first month or so. I don't know why, but I just felt like I should be able to do this by myself, and I didn't understand why I couldn't figure it out and why, I couldn't clean the house and take care of her and make dinner. Like, I don't know what made me think that, like, I had to do everything by myself. But once I, started to ask for help and, had people come over and watch Peyton, and even just an adult to come over and talk for a couple hours, like, well, I could, clean the dishes or get laundry done. Like, just like they say, it takes a village, and it really does. Like, you need, like, your people to help you.
I think with that too, shout out to both of our support systems, because it does make. I mean, for those listening, this isn't a cakewalk, and I mean, from my perspective, I think you guys as moms have it even more difficult than Jerry or I do. Both you guys are working full time. You come home, maintain a household, and are keeping humans alive. I'm just punching the clock and trying to make a dealership some money. Jerry's doing the same
Exactly. And it's
thing.
definitely hard because we work long
But
hours too.
it's
So we're, we
yeah,
obviously when we're home, we try to help out as much as possible, but there's lots of hours where we're not home, where you guys are both home with the babies. So that can be a lot, especially I know Macy, you work, 3 days on, but then you got 4 days off a week. So you're spending a lot of hours with her, cause I might not get home till 7:30, 8 o'clock at night. So you're pretty much solo the entire time she's awake, which can definitely be a lot.
yeah, and I think for in the asking for help, the other thing is like a lot of times we ask for help, or you guys might ask for help, and it's just to run and hurry up and go do something that you might be behind with. Sometimes asking for help so you
Yeah.
can rest too. Some of that other stuff, like your husband can take care of. I know I tell Kelsey that sometimes she rolls her eyes and like, I want it done now. And my timeline isn't always the same as hers. But it's important for everybody is to get the rest we're all running on less sleep than we ever have before. What do you guys want
I
for
mean,
Mother's Day?
it's
What
the
do you want
first
for
Mother's
Day,
Day,
Macy?
so we should appreciate mothers every day of the year, but we got a special day just for you guys. So what's your hope
Good job,
for
Jerry.
Mother's Day this year?
Just trying to get some brownie points.
Oh, I'm just asking her what she hopes for her first Mother's Day, Brandon.
Well, all I really wanted was family pictures, and we just scheduled those. So
We did just schedule those.
I saw a look from Kelsey. I think family pictures are gonna happen for the Banks household pretty soon here.
I would also like family pictures.
You guys have a photographer friend.
That actually is
What a
It
great
is.
idea.
Let me think of something else, though. Let me just throw something out there.
okay. Let's peel back the layers real quick. How many doggone pictures do we need to take as a family?
Listen, Bryce will never be this little again. Just get the pictures done.
How many? Okay, let me rephrase that.
Thank
How
you.
many doggone professional pictures do we need to take as a family?
Lots.
Well,
That's
how many
my
do you have on your
question.
iPhone right now,
More times a
Brandon and Kelsey? And if you had to guess, how many would you have? Bryce?
Professional or
No, it's on your iPhone.
Family
5,500.
5,500. Yeah, that's my point. But
Yeah.
but to Kelsey's point, she did just make a good point. She said family photos. I probably have 2,000 photos of Peyton, but there's like 15 of Macy, me, and Peyton.
that makes
So
me
that
sad.
is one reason why to do. Actually, that is one reason why to do professional ones is because it is hard with a baby to do family pictures. It's not hard to take pictures of them as we do every day, but it is hard to get family pictures. So guys, if you're looking for a gift for Mother's Day at
We got
home,
family pictures as a newborn. We got family pictures as a 2-month-old.
you're gonna have more family pictures for the rest of your life, Brandon. And
I know for sure
Hey,
that we're about
speaking
to
of-
schedule family pictures tomorrow.
speaking of family pictures, do you have like ones growing up that's like your favorite, Brandon? Like that you remember taking, like certain outfits or anything?
Yeah, actually, there are a couple pictures. So I'm doing all this complaining, and my mom took like 1,000 professional pictures of like us growing up. We should go to this place called Olin Mills if anybody remembers those places. But yeah, there's a couple pictures of like me and my brother, like we were wearing suits and we're super young, and we're suited and booted. Those are the ones that stick out. There's a family picture of my entire family. My little sister was a baby with like a gold dress. Um, you're proving
Yes.
Kelsey. and
Well,
Mason's
I
point.
had a couple good ones growing up. Brandon, you know my little brother Nick, and growing up he liked to throw little hissy fits or temper tantrums. So one year we went to get family pictures and he refused to cooperate. So my mom got professional family pictures without my brother in them and put them up in the house to spite him. It was great. So those are all of me and my siblings' favorite pictures because it's like all of us like professionally done and he's just not in them. So it's fantastic. So those are my
That's
favorite
hilarious.
ones. It's like he didn't exist. Which growing up when you only have one brother but 5 sisters, that's great when he's not in the picture. So that was probably my favorite family pictures growing up.
That's a good Nick
It is. So
story.
Kelsey, what do you want for your first Mother's Day? What is your wish? Maybe some quality time with Brandon, or what's the wish for Mother's Day?
would really just like to sleep in. I typically do the early morning wake up with Bryce. So I'd really just like to sleep in.
I think that's great. I think Brandon should wake up early and take care of Bryce on Mother's Day. That would be a great gift.
You should do the same
You're
for
right,
Mason,
Brandon.
I
Jerry.
probably
Yours
should.
should do the same.
I probably should. No, Mother's Day will be a good day. We actually have plans to go to brunch, which growing up, I know brunch is always like a joke of like when you get married, you start going to brunch. But brunch is great.
I
so
love brunch.
I'm not mad about that. We got brunch, and we're going to see Macy's parents, and we're going to see my parents later in the day. So it should be a good day. Spend some time with this little crazy. So
And Peyton and I have matching dresses.
yeah, I don't have a matching dress.
It would have been cute if you had.
Yeah, I know. They didn't get me one. I got left out, so that's okay. So, but yeah, so Mother's Day is coming up. I don't know if you guys have any big plans later on in the day or anything that you guys are kind of trying to do, or are you going out to the west side of the state? What's kind of the game plan for Mother's Day for you guys?
So I'll be going to Grand Rapids. That's where my parents are from. And I'll spend the day with my mom. And then on the way back, hopefully we'll stop and see Brayden's mom as well.
That will be a good day. And generally that's what you want for Mother's Day is you want to just see family and be surrounded by people. And obviously every Mother's Day hopefully is important, but the first one is kind of a big deal. So that is and will be exciting. That's coming up just this week. I can't believe it's already fast approaching. And the good thing about Mother's Day too is that Mother's Day is first. So after that is Father's Day. So we got to set the bar high so that you guys got to reach that bar once Father's Day comes around. So that's kind of our goal.
Oh, that's what you're doing.
Exactly.
Guess what you're getting
Okay.
for Father's Day, Jerry? Family pictures.
A baby brother for Peyton?
Oh, gosh. No, thank you.
Jerry!
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I don't think that'll happen.
No, thank you.
But maybe the second Mother's Day. Maybe then we could have that. All right. So we had a dad joke from Kelsey, and Kelsey obviously was better at the dad joke than Brandon ever is. But let's see if Macy can be better than I am at giving dad jokes. What's the dad joke today, Macy?
All right. Why didn't Han Solo enjoy his steak dinner?
I have no idea.
It was chewy.
Oh gosh. That's kind of
Star
dark
Wars
if you really
I
start
like
to think
it.
about it. It's kind of dark if you think about it that way.
I know.
That's funny.
It's spicy.
I like it. Well, it's kind of amazing that we've been doing this show for as long as we have, and we haven't had you guys on yet. We talk about you guys all the time, as I'm sure you both know, but we have not had you on, so we thank you both for being on the show. As Brandon mentioned, it is definitely true that you guys are better halves, and we couldn't do 80% of the stuff that you guys do. So we're glad to help out with the 10 to 20% to keep our little ones alive and thriving. And it's been super fun so far, and we want to, can't wait to see what comes next. But for everyone out there who hasn't listened before, or maybe just started listening, make sure you like us on social media. Make sure you follow us on Instagram and TikTok, and tell all your friends about us. But for Kelsey, for Macy, for Brandon, and myself, Jerry, you've been listening to Dad Jokes.